Welcome to the Airgun Show. We've got a CO2 powered gun on test this week in the shape of the Umarex 850 M2 Empire kit. But before that, I'm heading out on what turns out to be a pretty hectic ratting session. I'm back out on the farm after rats this evening, and I'm confident that we're going to nail quite a few. Now, it's the same farm as where we shot our last ratting episode, the only change being that we've had a very cold spell followed by a very wet spell, which I think will have driven a lot of rats in off of the countryside and onto the farm. So that's why I'm feeling pretty optimistic. My plan is to target two main areas, a feed store and a bank that runs along an old stone wall. Now, the idea is to kick off in the feed store because that gave us some pretty good sport last time, and then move on to the bank. Now, I haven't put any additional bait down in the feed store for the simple fact there's lots there to attract the rats anyway, and the ones that are there seem to be fairly resident. Along the wall, I've actually put a few dollops of liquidised cat food, not so much to attract the rats as to stop them and keep them still while I take shots. The gear I'm using tonight is pretty much my regular ratting setup. It's the ATNX sight, and that's on the Zebroia Hortesia. Now, the Hortesia is a great gun for ratting for several reasons. The first one being it's got a very fast straight pull action, which makes for rapid reloading, which is great if there are a lot of rats about or if you need a quick follow-up shot. Also, it's a relatively compact gun and it's fairly light, which makes it nice and manageable once you've got your bulky night vision unit on there. Now, it's sub 12 foot-pounds, 177 caliber, which I think is just about perfect for farmyard ratting. Right, well, the rats here don't usually tend to start moving till after it's got properly dark. So we're now just going to finish our preparations, settle in, and hopefully get a few shots. Having the right kit for the job makes shooting in the dark a whole lot easier. The Zebroia Hortesia has a 12-shot magazine, which makes for quick and easy reloading without having to reach for a light. That was a good solid smack to the head. Disappeared behind the feed sack, but it didn't reappear on the other side, so I assume it's just expired behind there. That was a fairly close one, so I gave the shot just a touch of holdover. The rats are out on their nocturnal rounds now, and I don't have to wait very long before another chance comes along. That was another fairly close one, by the pallets that time. Pallet absolutely cracked it in the head, sent it tumbling straight into the puddle. The pallets at the back of the feed store provide a popular sanctuary for the rats, and I soon spot another one clambering among the boards. And another one. I could just about see that one giving a last few kicks then beneath the board that it was trying to climb over. Now that shot came ever so quickly after the last one, so there are obviously a few rats about. Another really quick opportunity there. And that one was in almost exactly the same spot as the previous one. In fact, you could probably see the last one's body sprawled out there.
Shooting from a sitting position and with the support of a tripod makes for very precise pellet placement. You don't tend to miss many when you're shooting from a setup like this.
That's how you want your rats to go down. That one just crumpled. Had to wait a little bit longer for that shot, but probably still only about 10 minutes.
I continue scanning through the darkness with the night vision optics, and I soon have another rat in my sights.
And yet another one from that spot. The bodies really are starting to pile up there now.
That area has produced the bulk of the rats during the session so far, and, judging by what I can see through the X-sight now, it looks as if there are still a few to be had from there.
That was another one from that same spot. And there were 2 or 3 other rats clambering around behind it. They really do seem to like it over there. Well, despite us seeing a few other rats when I shot that last one, it's been absolutely dead for the last hour or so. Now, it's a pretty cold evening, so what we're going to do, we're going to nip back to the farmhouse for a quick mug of tea, and then come back out and target the zone along that wall, where I'm expecting to get quite a few shots.
Warmed up and fully refreshed, it's time to reload the Hortesia's magazine and get ready for more ratty action. And the signs look good.
Right, we're back out and covering the area by the bank now. Now, I actually saw a few rats scurrying around by the light of our torches as we walked back across, but I didn't want to mess about trying to take pot shots at them. Far better to settle in, get comfortable, and then pick them off with confident shots that you know will produce kills. Well, that was a very good start from this spot. I think we could be in for quite a few rats from here. Well, that was some very hectic sport, but as with the last spot, it's just gone very, very dead. I'm not entirely surprised. Now, we've probably made a bit of a dent in the resident rats in this area, and also any remaining ones are probably starting to wise up to what's going on. But I'm pleased with how it's gone. We've given the rats quite a clobbering now in both spots, so all that really remains for me to do is pick up the ones that we've shot, pack away the kit, and head for home. Some busy ratting there, and we'll be heading back to that farm very soon. And now, it's the Airgun Show news.
This is the Airgun Show news. As the nation goes to the polls in a general election that could be vital for the future of field sports, every vote and every seat counts. Shooters are urged not just to vote for their favourite party, but to check out their local candidates' views and vote for the biggest supporter of shooting. Don't forget to follow Basque's dedicated election website and the Election Hub on the Countryside Alliance website for the latest updates. And if you haven't voted yet, get out there and cast your vote for shooting. The consultation on general licences in England has closed, and major shooting organisations have all submitted their views. Basque said in its submission that we need a fit-for-purpose licensing system that is easy to understand and light touch, with decisions that are rooted in science. Plus, the GWCT collated more than 3,000 responses to its licensing survey and sent this large volume of evidence to DEFRA. An announcement on the new licences is expected next year. Negotiations are still underway to have shooting restored to the Commonwealth Games in 2022. Dame Louise Martin, the Commonwealth Games Federation president, said she was determined to have shooting involved and met the ISSF at the weekend to discuss ways that it might happen. She said there's still a long way to go to reach a solution, however, where there's a will, there's a way. And finally, with voting open for the Great British Shooting Awards 2020, we take a look at one of the categories you can have your say in. This week, it's the Outstanding Contribution to Conservation Award, and the nominees are David Livesey, Sporting Rifle Magazine, Austin Weldon, the Pace Brothers, and Andrew Hoodless. You can have your say in who wins. Head to greatbritishshootingawards.com to vote. That was the Airgun Show news.
We don't feature a lot of CO2-powered airguns on the show, but the Umarex 850 Air Magnum has always been regarded as something of a classic. This year it's had a serious revamp in the shape of the 850 M2 version. This is it in the Empire kit form. Distributed in the UK by John Rothery Wholesale, this recoilless airgun retails for £369.95 and comes with a whole raft of extras. Apart from the gun, the kit also includes a zoom scope with 2-piece mounts, a silencer, a bipod, a tin of 500 pellets and a set of 10 cardboard targets. You're certainly going to hit the ground running with this setup. Just add an 88-gram CO2 capsule and you're ready to start shooting. This is not an airgun for tiddlers. It's 117 centimetres long with the moderator fitted, and let's face it, most people are going to want to put that straight on. Add the scope and mounts and the combo tips the scales at just over 4 kilos, which is actually relatively light for such a large gun. It feels good in the shoulder, with the point of balance coming about 10 centimetres in front of the trigger guard. The Ambid Extra stock is capped with a ventilated butt pad. The tough synthetic handle is finished in black, and although it looks very modern, I'm pleased to say that it isn't too tactical in its styling. The fore end features no less than 3 accessory rails and features grippy stippling on either side. The same stippling is also present on both sides of the pistol grip, which is contoured to set you up very nicely for the trigger. One thing I really like about this stock is the snap-on cheek piece booster. Without it fitted, the cheek piece is just about the right height for shooting with open sights, but clip it on and it lifts you up just that little bit higher for perfect eye alignment with the supplied telescopic sight. The finish of the metalwork is good enough for a gun at this price point, and it seems to be pretty cleanly engineered. The barrel is actually fitted with fibre optic open sights. Now, it's nice to have the option of using them for some old-fashioned plinking, but they are very easy to remove, and I think that most people will probably want to do that and stick with the supplied telescopic sight. The Walther branded scope has a 3 to 9 times zoom range, which gives plenty of versatility for different applications. Although fairly basic, it is actually quite a bright little optic, and it certainly extracts more accuracy from this gun than the open sights. Best of all, it has finger adjustable turrets, so you don't need any tools to zero it. At the heart of this airgun's multi-shot firing system is a metal 8-shot magazine. To remove it, pull back the side bolt to cock the gun and then pull back the retaining clip. The magazine then pulls out from the opposite side. Pellets are loaded nose first, with the silvery cog side of the magazine facing towards you. When it's full, push it back in, return the retaining clip and the bolt, and the gun is cocked, loaded and ready to shoot. The side bolt action is a nice robust mechanism and has worked without fault during my testing. The rearward stroke cocks the gun and sets the safety catch, while the forward stroke indexes the magazine and probes a pellet into the breech. That fast reloading is useful in the field and great fun for plinking. The trigger is pretty good too. The blade is of a fairly simple curved design and transmits plenty of feel. There's very little resistance in the first stage, but it does come to a distinct stop before the second stage breaks predictably and with no obvious creep. There's a safety catch nicely positioned at the rear of the action. It's initially set by the stroke of the bolt, but you can reset it manually. It's safe when it's in the rearward position, and then you thumb it forwards, remembering to apply pressure to the central button when you're ready to take the shot. Apart from enhancing the looks of the 850 M2, the silencer also does a pretty good job of keeping it quiet. Its styling matches the aesthetics of the gun very well, and it screws in to the 1/2-inch UNF threaded barrel to convert this airgun into a stealthy hunting tool. Reloading the CO2 capsules is very simple. Just press down the button on the underside of the fore end and the front section slides off to expose the empty bottle. Unscrew and remove that one, and then screw a fresh one all the way in and slacken it off by just a touch. Snap the fore end section back on and the job is done. The 177 caliber test gun is producing a muzzle energy of around 10 foot-pounds and returning about 140 shots from an 88 gram capsule. Now, you do get fluctuations with CO2 depending on the ambient temperature. Power levels tend to be a touch higher in warm conditions and a little bit lower in the cold. Shot count can also vary. As I said earlier on, you even get a bipod with this kit. It attaches via the underside accessory rail and it has adjustable legs. Let's get it set up and we'll try out the kit on the range. Right, well I've done away with the usual bench bag and I've used a supplied bipod just to give you a better idea of how the complete kit actually performs. Although what I will say is, although the supplied pellets weren't bad, I've been getting better groups with JSBs and that's what I was using then. So with those, that's a 20-metre group, 5 shots, very, very gentle breeze, and that's got to be, I don't know, about 15 millimetres from centre to centre, so a relatively tight group, making this gun, I would say, accurate and powerful enough for targeting live quarry out to that range. The Umarex 850 M2 Empire kit is a brilliant package. It's great fun to shoot, and although I reckon it is really primarily a plinking gun, it is up to close to mid-range pest control. If you fancy the idea of recoil-free shooting but don't want the hassle and expense of the charging kit associated with a PCP, this is a serious option, and with all those extras, it's also very good value for money.
Look out for the new and improved Airgun Shooter magazine, packed full of technique, gear and insight from some of the best shooters in the industry. Brand new look and free video content. Pick up your copy today in stores or online.
That's all for this week, but as ever, we'll be back again in a fortnight. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And if you aren't already a member of the BASC, have a look at their website and check out the benefits that you could be taking advantage of through Airgun membership.